students. So today we are going to start a new chemistry chapter, that is carbon and its compounds. Okay. So in this chapter mainly we are going to deal with the element, that is carbon. So how carbon is present in each and every varieties of different elements and what are its main intention of joining to that particular element. We shall see all these things, all this information regarding carbon. Okay. So before studying this chapter, the main thing is we should know that carbon, its symbol is represented as capital letter C. And what is the number 6 and this 12? This 6 is represented as atomic number of carbon and this 12 is represented as atomic mass number of carbon. Okay, atomic number will be 6, atomic mass number will be 12. These are the numbers of carbon element. Now there is a short video clip wherein in that short video clip we shall see how this carbon is present in each and every element which we can see in and around atmosphere. Okay, so carbon is an element which is present in and every substance present in the atmosphere, but in the smaller extent. Okay, so we shall see this information in a short video clip. Quickly go through it and come back.
What is the similarity between a sugar grain and a diamond? Maybe you'll say that they both are lustrous. And what if I ask you the similarity between a diamond and a graphite? A graphite is just this piece of black stone used in laboratories. Maybe you'll think there is no similarity. Is there really no similarity between these two? The answer would surprise you. There is something common between all these three things. I'm referring to the element that these three are made up of. I'm referring to carbon. Wait a second. Are we saying that the sugar, the radiant diamond and graphite are all made up of carbon? Absolutely. In fact, diamond and graphite are almost pure forms of carbon. They are majorly made up of carbon with a few minuscule elements that come as impurities. But how can there be so much difference in the looks of different materials made up of the same element? How can it be possible that the substances made up of the same element, carbon, appear totally different? And wait, they also have different chemical properties. The looks are different, the chemical properties are different, but they're made up of the same element, carbon.
So now look at here, three different terms. One is acetic acid, then the ethanol and methane. Okay, so in acetic acid also you can find that there is carbon element, right? So even in the ethanol also there is a carbon element. So this is a methane. So here in methane also there is a carbon element. Usually in all these three examples, just check it out, this carbon is along with the H term. That H stands for, it is hydrogen. Okay, H in the sense it is hydrogen. So here also C is bonded with hydrogen and here also C is bonded with hydrogen. So everywhere in most of the element we can say carbon usually it forms a bond with a hydrogen element. And what type of bond is formed here? That bond is called as covalent bond. Okay, so covalent bond means the bond formed between carbon and other element by sharing an electron. For example, carbon is having 2 electrons and hydrogen is also having 2 electrons. Okay, this is different and this is different. Now, this carbon, what it does, it just shares its 2 electron with the hydrogen and this forms a bond here. That is, 2 electrons forms 1 bond and these 2 electrons forms 1 bond. So how many bonds are over? Here there are 2 bonds. So these type of bonds we call it as double bond. Okay. So if there is a single bond, if there is a one line between 2 different elements, then we call this as a single bond. If there is 2 lines between 2 different elements, we call it as a double bond. Similarly, if there is a 3 line between 2 elements, we call it as a triple bond. Okay, so this is how covalent bond formation is done. Okay, very important question. What is covalent bond? The bond formed between carbon and any other. So here I have taken example of carbon and hydrogen, but you can take example of any element, either carbon and nitrogen, carbon and oxygen, anyhow. But what happens is that there takes place a sharing of electrons. So electron will be shared between carbon and whatever the element which is going to form a bond with that. Okay, so they share the electrons to form a bond, wherein one bond means there are two electrons. Okay, so if there is one line between two elements, that is single bond. If there is two lines between two elements, then it is double bond. If there is three lines between two elements, then it is a triple bond. Now we shall see some of the types of bond formation takes place by carbon. Okay, so carbon forms a bond in three different ways. One is chain form, one more is a branches form, and the other one is a ring form. Okay, so here in the first type, that is in the chain type, see here you can see everything are carbon. Okay, and how that carbon is arranged? It is arranged in a straight line, right? So these carbons, if it is arranged in a straight line, then it is formed as a chain type of bond formation. Okay, which type of bond formation? That is a chain type of bond formation. So here in chain type of bond formation, all the elements will be arranged in a straight line. Okay, this is a chain type. Next, coming to the branches type, here see, this is like a branch form. So how in the trees you find the branches, similarly here it is not in a straight line. Here carbon is found, two elements are in straight line carbon, and the one is below that and one more is the below to the other one. Okay, so here there are four carbon atoms and these hydrogens are formed bonded here and there. Right, so this is not in a straight chain. Okay, so this comes under branches type. So branches type means it comes one below to the other, exactly one below the other. Okay, if carbon atoms are exactly one below the other, then we call it as a branched chain form or a branch type bond formation. So here the third one is a ring type. So in the ring type, what happens? Here you will find here you will get a closed figure. Okay, so here you will get a closed figure, that is, see, carbon, 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 carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here you have 6 carbon atom. Okay, so 6 carbon atom are arranged in a circular format. Okay, so here because of this circular format, here the name is given as the ring type of bond formation. Is this clear? So there are three different types of bond formation. One is the chain type, the branches type, and the ring type bond formation. So next we'll move on to two different types of carbon compounds. One is a saturated carbon compound, the other one is unsaturated carbon compound. Now, before knowing what is saturated and unsaturated carbon compound, we must know the valency of carbon. Okay, so what do you mean by valency? Valency is not a new topic. Why? Because about valency you will start studying from 7th standard itself. But I don't know how many of you remember right now. But I will tell you what is valency. So valency means it is the total number of electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom. Okay, the total number of electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom is called as valency. Now the carbon's valency number is 4. Always remember, the carbon's valency is 4. Okay, so here saturated carbon compound means carbon atom, it satisfies the valency. Okay, whatever the structure you write, it has to satisfy its valency. Now look at this structure. Here C is at the middle. One bond is formed with this hydrogen. Second bond, third bond, fourth bond. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 valency is satisfied. So such type of carbon compound we call it as saturated carbon compound. Is that clear? So saturated carbon compound means carbon atom has to satisfy its valency, wherein its valency is number 4. So carbon atom has to undergo any 4 bonds with any of the atom. Okay, so it has to undergo 4 bonds. Here it is undergoing 4 bonds, so it comes under saturated carbon compound. But here in unsaturated carbon compound, carbon atom does not satisfy the valency. Okay, so you can see here in the structure, that is C is in the middle and there is one bond with the hydrogen and the other bond with the hydrogen. So there are only 2 bonds. Still 2 more bonds are missing. Right, so that comes under unsaturated carbon compound. Wherein unsaturated carbon compound means it is like incomplete. this is not a complete one. Why it is not a complete? Because it is not satisfying its valency. Okay, so the carbon compounds which is not satisfying its valency, then such carbon compounds we call it as unsaturated carbon compounds. So next we'll move on to a process called as combustion. So here combustion means it's like a burning process, okay, or lightning process. So here we are taking a small example of carbon and oxygen. So C stands for carbon and O stands for oxygen. When we combine this carbon and oxygen, we obtain a product as a CO2, wherein CO2 means it is carbon dioxide. Okay. So when the carbon dioxide is produced, automatically the heat and light will be produced. Okay, what will be produced? When the carbon dioxide is produced, meanwhile heat and light also will be produced with the help of carbon dioxide. But here the main thing is automatically when the carbon dioxide is going to evolve, then there will be a flame generated, that is a burning process takes place. Okay, so carbon dioxide, it means it is like a heat. Okay, it produces heat and it produces light, and in that flame causes a difference here. See, if in the combustion process whatever the carbon we are using, if that is a saturated carbon, then in the burning process whatever the flame you obtain, that will be the clean flame. That is not a pure, it will be a very pure one. There will not be any impure content in that flame. If you use a saturated carbon compound in the process of combustion, then you will obtain a clean or pure flame. Okay, but here if in this case, here in combustion process, if you use unsaturated carbon compound, then you will obtain a yellow colored flame. Okay, so this is a 1 mark question, very important students. They might ask for the multiple choice and all, or might be for 1 mark, 2 marks questions also. So in the combustion process, what happens? If saturated carbon compound is used in the process, then you will obtain a clean flame, and if unsaturated carbon compound is obtained in the combustion process, then you will obtain a yellow colored flame. Okay, so this is about the combustion, and next we'll move on to addition reaction. So addition reaction's speciality is by making use of unsaturated hydrocarbon, we are producing saturated carbon compound. Okay, by making use of unsaturated hydrocarbon, we are preparing saturated hydrocarbon. Wherein, what is this hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon means elements combined with carbon and hydrogen. Okay, what is hydrocarbon? Elements prepared by combining carbon as well as hydrogen are called as hydrocarbon. Now here the speciality is unsaturated hydrocarbon we have with us. Okay, we have unsaturated hydrocarbon, and by making use of unsaturated hydrocarbon, we are forming a saturated hydrocarbon. So how is that possible? That is possible by the addition of hydrogen. So hydrogen is a new thing, you are going to add it, right? So the name came as addition reaction. Okay, so hydrogen is to be added for unsaturated hydrocarbon. When you add hydrogen to unsaturated hydrocarbon, then what product is obtained? You will obtain a saturated hydrocarbon. So this is a speciality of addition reaction. Very important question. What is addition reaction? That is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Okay, we have to add hydrogen to that. So hydrogen is added to unsaturated hydrocarbon to obtain saturated hydrocarbon. This process is known as addition reaction. So this is the last topic, students. Very important question, and this question will be found for 3 marks. Okay, very important. So how soap helps to clean clothes? So how soap will help to clean the cloth? It might be soap also, and here in the place of soap, if the question is like detergent also, then the same answer is applicable for both soap as well as detergent. Okay, so what happens is, here let us take an example of soap only. So during the preparation of soap itself, some oil contents will be added for that. Okay, so it might be animal oil or plant oil, anything. Okay, so but oil content will be there. However, in the preparation of soap, oil content will be there. So in the soap, what happens? This oil content, once when the soap is rubbed with the help of water, there will be foam produced, right? foam is produced. And why that foam is produced? That foam is produced because of this oil extracts present in the soap. Okay, so what does this oil does? This oil combines with the water molecule. Okay, so you are rubbing your soap with the help of water. By that time, oil is helping to produce the foam. Meanwhile, here this oil, it combines with the water molecule, and once when the oil and water molecule is combined together, it slowly creates a ring-like structure like this. Okay, when oil and water molecules, as it is combining each other, it slowly creates a ring-like structure, and that ring-like structure is called as micelle. Okay, it is called as micelle. And what is this micelle? How does it work? This micelle helps to pull the dirt from the clothes. The main work is done by micelle. Okay, so what it does, it just pulls the dirt which is present on the surface of the cloth. Okay, so this is what is phenomenon which is taking place inside the water. Okay, so I repeat, in the preparation of soap, oil will be used. Now this oil, what happens, it combines with the water molecule and forms a ring-like structure, and that ring-like structure is called as micelle. And what this micelle does, this helps to pull the dirt from the cloth, and hence the cloth will be cleaned easily by making use of soap. Same thing is applicable for the detergent also. In the preparation of detergent's crystal or detergent powder, oil will be used there also. Okay, so because of the oil only we are getting foam in water. Okay, so there also that oil combines with the water molecule, and again they forms a ring-like structure, and that ring-like structure is called as micelle, and this micelle helps to pull the dirt from the clothes, and finally the clothes will be clean. Okay, so this is what is going to happen inside water. And here you can see the usage of carbon. Usage of carbon will be like, it will be present in this oil itself. Okay, a small amount of carbon content will be present in the oil. So here in the cleaning process also carbon is a main thing. So carbon acts in each and every cases, in each and every activity we does. Okay, in each and every element which is present, the carbon is present. So carbon is a thing wherein it will be present in each and every substance in and around the earth, which we might not know about that. Okay, but without knowingly it is present. In our body also it is present, and in the outside atmosphere also it is present. Okay, so here ends the chapter carbon and its compounds.